We good to go?
It feels like the perfect night for Swiftcast, a Taylor Swift podcast by the fans for the fans.
Hey everyone!
Hi!
Hey!
Welcome to episode 26 of Swiftcast. This is Ashley.
Belle.
And Steph.
And we miss Haley and Nate a lot, but unfortunately they couldn't join us today.
Sad.
But I'm sure they'll be back next week. We just wanted to remind you, if you haven't already, to press the subscribe button on iTunes, and it will always download our latest episodes for you, which is great, because then you don't have to remember to check for them. So you should definitely do that. And you should also check out our store at cafepress.com/swiftcaststuff. We have lots of cool, original Taylor merch that you can't get anywhere else, and any purchase you make helps us keep bringing you Swiftcast every week, so that would be really cool if you wanted to check it out.
Very, very awesomeness. So, unfortunately, we don't have red shows for you anymore.
Still feels strange.
I know,
sad.
it does.
Feels like
I'm
something's
so sad.
missing.
There's a gigantic part missing from my heart right now. Seriously, though, we are bummed about that, because we missed the tour a lot. But for those of you that are international fans, there is some good news for you guys. The tour is headed to Australia and New Zealand at the end of November, and then in February it'll be going to London, and I'm sure more places in Europe, so at least you guys get to see it.
Isn't it crazy that about a year from now we might be getting the next tour announcement?
That is so crazy. I can't even process that in my brain right now.
I can't wait. And I'm so excited that she's having 5 shows in London. I think no one's ever done that before, maybe? At the O2 Center?
Yeah, that is crazy. I know she did the 3 and they sold out like that, and then she's like, I'll add a 4th, and then that was gone in 2 seconds, and oh look, there's a 5th one!
So exciting.
Go Taylor.
And for all 5 of those shows, the Vamps are going to be opening for her.
I need to check out their music. I have not listened to it.
Yeah, all I really know is that they're British and kind of a boy band.
Alright, well. Could be interesting, maybe. We'll give it a try.
Sadly, though, I really don't think they're going to live up to Ed opening for her.
No one's gonna live up to Ed opening for her. I'm sorry. As good as you might be, the Vamps, and this is nothing against you, Ed was amazing, and just that combination was just impeccable.
Definitely.
And
any opener she has on any future tour is really never going to live up.
I agree. Like, there's a lot of openers that I did like in previous tours. I liked Gloriana the band, Gloriana opening up for her on the Fearless tour. Need to Breathe was, they did a good job, but Ed was like the icing on the opening cake.
Yeah, he's been my favorite.
I really, really loved Need to Breathe, and I was just thinking about how I miss seeing them.
I haven't seen him in a while either.
I saw them on their own headlining show a few months after the Speak Now tour had ended, and they're just really good.
They are good.
For some reason, I've been having, Speak Now tour nostalgia the past couple of weeks.
I was too. I was actually, on my YouTube channel looking at a couple of videos I took of, Taylor singing Fearless and stuff on the Speak Now tour, and I was sad-facing.
Also, it's really weird because, just recently I was thinking about how it had been 2 years since, some of the Speak Now shows that I was at.
Which is crazy.
It is crazy.
It feels like it was just yesterday.
I feel like Taylor's entire career is just going by way too fast for us. I totally remember, I think it's crazy to think about the fact that it's almost 2014, and the first time I saw Taylor live was at the beginning of 2008.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I'm like, has that really been, that long? That many years? What's going on with my life?
Yeah, I first saw her in August of 2007, and it's
wow.
So it's already been 6 years. And just to look at how far she's gone is crazy.
It is.
And exciting.
Absolutely. I mean, I think about the first time I saw her, and she was doing her own show, but it was at this little venue. And then she had, a meet and greet line just outside after the show.
Wow.
And I'm just like, yeah, if she tried to do that now, I think that would be a problem.
But we do have lots of other awesome Taylor news for you, so now I think it's time for Keeping
Up with Swift.
Woohoo!
Woo!
So just because Taylor's tour's on break for a couple months doesn't mean that we don't have any Taylor news. Actually, we have a ton of things going on, and she has some really exciting news. The Taylor by Taylor perfume is now available in the online store. And so if you haven't had a chance to go out to Macy's or anywhere else to find it, you can just order it online at taylorswift.com.
Yay! I still need that perfume, honestly. I have the rollerball, but I don't have, like, the...
I don't either. I think I'm putting it on my Christmas list.
Yeah, at some point in the future, I'll have to get that. I wore it a little bit in Nashville because our friend Jill brought it, but I don't have my own bottle.
Yeah, I've used it and I love it, so I have to buy it.
Ditto.
So, this next thing might be some of the biggest Taylor news of the whole year. Yesterday, October 12th in Nashville, the Taylor Swift Education Center opened its doors at the Country Music Hall of Fame.
That is huge.
I remember
So
I
exciting.
first heard about that they were going to be doing this. I think it was, and I don't think a lot of people remembered, but they actually announced it last summer when the Speak Now Tour exhibit opened that there was going to eventually be an education center too. So they just opened the classrooms so kids can start having music lessons, and then the actual exhibit to go along with it is going to be opening next year. But Taylor made a $4 million donation, which is the largest single donation that any artist has ever made to the museum.
That's huge.
And it takes up 2 floors and has 3 classrooms, a learning lab, a children's exhibit gallery, and that will open next year. And there's going to be a lot of really cool things in there. Taylor's going to have her Songwriter and Artist of the Year awards from the Nashville Songwriters Association. And she also donated one of her old guitars to put on display there. So, definitely, if you go to Nashville, I think visiting this is a must.
I want to know a little bit more about, like, what kind of classes are they offering? And, like, just for kids? Or
It sounds like
I'm
it's
confused
mostly
about-
for kids up through maybe high school.
And it's like music education?
Yeah, that's what it seems like, because in the pictures it looks like each little
I've seen
desk
the little
had microphones and stuff.
Yeah, I saw that.
I know
That's
Taylor
cute.
said that maybe she might consider doing like a guest lecture or something like that. I'm pretty sure that there would be a lot of people trying to crash that class.
If she if she did something like that, she would literally have to, like, show up spontaneously. Because there's no way she could announce that ahead of time and not have 80,000 people trying to get in, you know?
That would be amazing.
That would be really cool, though. She would just, like, randomly show up one day and do something like that.
And I mean, obviously I've seen Taylor in person a lot of times, but I think just like sitting in a room hearing her talk for like an hour would be the best thing ever.
I would absolutely 100% do that.
Like just hearing what she has to say and teach and seeing her interact with the kids, and I don't know, I just think it would be amazing.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Well, if I don't get to do it sooner, I'm definitely going to check it out next summer when I come back for CMA Fest.
I will have to check it out. No, I know I'm going down to a Predators game in a week or two, so I will have to check it out when I do that.
Yeah, that'll be really exciting. When I was at Nashville for the last show, I stopped by the museum and saw the little plaque announcing, it said 2014. And I thought, if I can't get back to Nashville before the end of this year, I would go back next year to see this.
I'm excited for what ends up happening with it. I think it's going to be really cool.
And it looked like she donated her guitar, which was really cool. I love that guitar. If anybody's seen pictures of it.
Like one of her first guitars, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess it was already in the museum behind the glass with one of her dresses. But now I guess it will actually be in the education center, so that's really cool.
So we mentioned that Taylor's award from the Nashville Songwriters Association was going to be on display in the museum. And so speaking of that award, she received it for the 6th time just a couple of days ago during the annual awards at the Music City Center. And Taylor has won that award more than any other artist. There have been a couple people that have won it 5 times, but she has now won it for 6, and she is also the youngest artist to receive the honor.
Dude, she breaks records left and right all the time. She is amazing.
And then, also speaking of her award nominations, as you know, she has 6 CMA nominations this year, and that's coming up in a few weeks. So the nominations that she has are Video of the Year for Highway Don't Care, Single of the Year for Highway Don't Care, Album of the Year for Red, Musical Event for Highway Don't Care, and then Female Vocalist of the Year and Entertainer of the Year. So I would be really surprised if she didn't take home at least a couple of those.
Yeah, I would be surprised too. I think she has a good shot, and I'm also excited to see her perform at the CMAs.
Yeah, I have no idea what she's going to perform.
That is going to be an interesting mystery, yeah. I'm definitely curious to see what performance that'll be. I would be willing to bet that she at least gets one of the awards with Highway Don't Care.
Oh, for sure. And my award show predictions are usually wrong, but I would predict that she will not get Female Vocalist, but she will get Entertainer of the Year.
Yeah, that is a common thing with her. I will say she definitely has a shot for Entertainer.
All the females nominated for Female Vocalist of the Year are really strong. It's Miranda Lambert, Carrie Underwood, Casey Musgraves, and Kelly Clarkson. But Taylor is the only female in the Entertainer of the Year category, and I think that everybody, including the other people nominated, know just how huge this year and this tour have been for her.
That is true.
Yeah, I agree. I think last year when she didn't win, I wasn't that surprised because she was not touring as much last year. But this year, the show has been huge. It's, 1.3 million people have seen it. It's selling out here, abroad. She definitely deserves it, and I hope it works out.
This is unrelated, but I still don't think that Kelly Clarkson makes sense to be nominated for a country award show.
I completely agree.
I mean, she performed at CMA Fest, and I liked her performance, and she's a really good singer, but she's only had 2 country songs.
Yeah, I also think Casey Musgraves is still a little bit new to be nominated in that category. I think it just shows that females aren't quite as well represented in country music as males. Hopefully that will change someday.
Yeah, because there aren't really a lot of there's really nobody not nominated for female vocalist that I think should be, but I can think of a lot of male vocalists that could also be nominated.
Exactly.
I'm very sketchy about saying that somebody shouldn't be nominated for something because there's so many people out there that would be like, oh well, Taylor's not country anymore just because she has broadened her musical horizons.
But she's been in country this whole time. Kelly Clarkson just barely started breaking into country.
I think that's the thing though, is it's become this interesting phenomenon where country didn't used to be that, or how do I explain this? Country, people had this idea in their heads for the longest time that, pop was where it was at. And then country started getting, especially when people started merging into pop country and stuff. And over the last, 15 years or so, country has gotten a lot more widespread popularity, I think. And so now people are kind of going the opposite route, and they're being like, oh, I want to do something different and freshen up my career. Let me go into country.
Yeah, I definitely...
Instead of people that started out in country and then sort of merged into other genres, now people are trying to merge into country, which is interesting to me. It's just sort of a opposite flip on what you have seen in the music industry up until, the last several years.
I was actually just reading Rolling Stone, and there is an interview with Sheryl Crow talking about how she decided to break into country, and she left her label and got a new label just so she could do that.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why people do it a lot is because country music listeners tend to be very loyal fans.
This is true.
Whereas with pop, it seems much more like fads that just fade in and out.
I can think of a lot more people in pop that have one-hit wonders than, country.
Exactly. Well, speaking of country, and where country all begins is always in Nashville, so Taylor released a video to summarize the last 3 Nashville shows that all of Swiftcast was at, and you can see it on her channel at youtube.com/Taylor Swift. I thought the video was awesome.
Definitely... Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say one of my favorite parts was when she did the chant with the Rascal Flatts. I loved that.
Yes, that was really cute. The video very much focused on, the special guests that she had, which were Luke Bryan, Rascal Flatts, and Hunter Hayes. And I thought it was kind of cute when Rascal Flatts was like, yeah, she started off opening for us, and now we're here, supporting her, which, well, she is, huge. And I don't know, like, I remember, and I used to go to a few of those shows when she was opening for Rascal Flatts, so I just, like, identified with that a lot, and it made me happy to see, and I when they performed What Hurts the Most, I was crying. I was freaking out.
Yeah, their segment was really cute. It was like it had come full circle from her opening for them, and now they're joining her. And now Rascal Flatts is even on her record label, which is really cool.
That is awesome. Incredibly awesome.
And it was also cool to see just all the pictures, the backstage pictures, the Club Red pictures. I thought it was a great video.
Yeah, it was well put together and definitely kind of a good representative memory of those last 3 shows. It made me nostalgic.
I'm so glad we were there because I feel like it will always be like a special part of Taylor history.
Agreed. I'm glad we got to be a part of it. Also, awesome news. Taylor has graced the cover of In Style magazine's November 2013 issue. I thought she looked really pretty. She looked, very kind of casual, but still very elegant. She was wearing this, like, holiday-ish green sweater and, like, a business kind of skirt to go with it. I thought it was a very chill but mature look for her, which I thought was sort of a nice, like, she has these very creative photo shoots a lot of the times, and as beautiful as they are, and as much as I love all of her photo shoots, I think sometimes she just almost like she looks her best when she's just kind of being natural.
This is the time when I wish that Nate was here to describe her outfit.
That's true. Nate, we miss you. We need our mail back in the episode.
I think that the cover looks great, and the bits and pieces of the quotes that I've read sound like it's going to be a great interview. So I'm really excited to read the whole thing.
So, Taylor is just racking up the award nominations. I can't even keep track of them all.
It is literally, it's crazy. She is well-deserved, of course, but she is definitely kicking some butt with awards.
So, she just got 5 AMA nominations, the American Music Awards, and these are fan-voted, so that means it's time to get serious. You can vote, I think, is it once a day or is it unlimited? I think it's once a day.
It's once a day, but you can vote, but from what my understanding is that, it's once a day, but if you also vote via Twitter, then I think it counts as 2 votes.
Okay, so yeah, vote as much as possible. Her nominations are Artist of the Year, Favorite Female Artist for Pop/Rock, Favorite Album for Pop/Rock, Favorite Female Artist for Country, and Favorite Album for Country. I love how she's nominated in both.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's really exciting, and because these are fan voted, I think if we work really hard, we can get her a lot of awards.
As we all know, Swifties are loyal, so I think if everyone just votes every day and, takes their couple minutes and does this, I think we will get her awards. And hopefully, when they say that these are fan-voted awards, they're actually fan-voted awards.
The other very exciting thing in Taylor news is that on just this past Friday, Taylor did 2 interviews. One was with the Bobby Bones show, and the other was in Nash FM's new live studio, and Taylor was the first guest there. The interviews were long, informative, and Taylor was sassy and just really fun and entertaining. We're going to talk about the interviews much more in depth in a few minutes, so stay tuned.
And now I think it's time for some mini segments.
Yay, mini segments! Alright, we have a fair amount for you this week, because we are finishing up our backlog, so thank you for your patience, guys, who had stuff on the backlog, and here you guys are. So from Enchanted Forever on TC, Taylor touching my hand and crying afterwards, read to her memories.
Our next one is also from Enchanted Forever on Taylor Connect, correcting people when they hate on Taylor, Swiftie problems.
I love the way she words that, correcting people. Not arguing with them, but correcting them.
They need to be corrected. They're so uninformed.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that phraseology there. I'm just going to start using that instead of arguing with people.
Correcting them.
Laura Swiftie on TC for her Swiftie bucket list is 1, obviously meet Taylor. 2, have Taylor teach me how to play guitar. 3, be invited into her condo or out to dinner. Basically spend more time with her. 4, have my boyfriend and me invited into Club Red. He's the only one I know who would be willing to go all out with me for a concert. That's really cute.
Good boyfriend.
That must mean he's a keeper.
Exactly. Our next one comes from Loves Taylor Most on TC, and this is a Swiftie bucket list as well. 1. Meet her. 2. Hug her. 3. Tell her how much I love her. 4. Get into Club Red. 5. Pet Meredith. 6. Get my friends to make TC accounts. 7. Buy all Taylor merch. Dang, all. 8. Have a big dance party playing Taylor songs only. 9. Meet her family. 10. Meet her friends. 11. Meet her band. Meet her dancers. Get all of her perfumes and put them on all at once. That could smell interesting. Have Taylor teach her guitar. Sing a duet with her. Get a red car and blast Taylor songs as loud as she can. Meet every Swiftie on TC. That's very ambitious. Practice singing to the point where she sounds like Taylor. Get some kids. Get all of the albums, including like the deluxes and the platinums and everything. Make all of your friends love Taylor as much as you do. And dance to 22 with Taylor and my friends dressed up as cats. Alright, I can dig that.
I love how she did 22. 22 reasons. 22 things on her list. It's great.
Oh, I didn't even catch that because I'm slow. Good eye.
Our next one is from Jillian on Facebook, and she had a triple hitter this week. She had 3 submissions. Swiftie problems. I have a break from school in December when Taylor is in Australia but don't have the money to travel to see her again. And her next submission was Red Tour Memories. When Taylor brought Emma up on stage in Charlotte, North Carolina, it was so cute. I remember that.
Aw, me too.
I loved that.
And her last one is, it feels like a perfect night to bake mint chocolate cookies.
Gnome.
That's what Taylor made for the radio station people this week.
Yes, they sounded fantastic, and they made me hungry. Our next one is from MistyWilly12 at live.com. This is also a triple hitter, so thank you for sending us 3. And it was via the website contact form. Her Swiftie problem her Swiftie problems is not having any hipster glasses to make fun of hipsters. Another Swiftie problem is being the only Swiftie or fan in her workplace. I have this same problem, and it makes it rough, but you just gotta keep going with it. And her Swiftie bucket list is to be able to attend a show. Not just money for tickets, but the timing of the concert. So thank you for your submissions.
Our next one is from Sarah Kahn via email. Fangirling over the Nashville concert with your 84-year-old grammar teacher. Awesome. That's a Swiftie problem.
It's not really a problem.
I was gonna say, how is it a problem though? Because that's awesome.
Our next one is from Madison via email. It feels like the perfect night to listen to Sweeter Than Fiction. And just a reminder, the song is actually getting released later this month.
Isn't it on the 29th for...
I think that's right.
I think it's
29th?
the 29th in the US and like the 26th or something like that in the UK.
Yeah, they get it the UK first.
So by the end of this month, so that's really exciting. I can't wait to play it over and over and over again.
Yeah, I've been playing the preview over and over again, so having the full song is going to be awesome.
And that reminds me, can you guys believe that it's almost the 1-year anniversary of Red?
That is crazy.
It's so crazy.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like we need to have a special episode to commemorate that.
I agree fully.
We need to have like a birthday party for Red.
Yes, I love that idea.
Our next Swiftie problem is from Emily Lawrence via email, and her Swiftie problem is checking my Twitter and discovering that I can now buy Taylor by Taylor Swift in Myers, Australia. Go order it online, start cheering. My dog looks at me tilting her head and barking at me like, "What is the matter with you?" That's awesome. I hope that Emily also plays Taylor songs for her dog.
Definitely.
Because I do that for my dog.
My animals have definitely listened to a lot of Taylor. Our next one is another Swiftie bucket list from Sparkle Swiftie 13 on TC. Meet her, become a backup dancer or one of her background singers. Run into her unexpectedly. Ride in her pink pickup truck. I miss that truck, but she gave it away. Sad. Rap with her. Have a pathetic single girls party with her on Valentine's Day. Jump on a trampoline with her. Meet Austin and have him fall in love with the careless man's careful daughter. Aw. Hear her say my name. Hang out with her. And share songs that I wrote with her. Meet the agency and meet Andrea and Scott and make her laugh.
Aw.
So cute.
So thanks so much for all the submissions this week, and keep them coming. We love getting all of them. And especially Red Tour Memories, our latest segment that we started doing a couple of weeks ago. We really are enjoying hearing everyone's Red Tour memories. So make sure you send those in along with your Swiftie problems and Swiftie bucket lists, and it feels like a perfect night submissions, and we will read them on our future episodes. And also, a couple of days ago on our Twitter, we had a trivia game, and we want to give shout-outs to everybody who played, and we want to congratulate our winner at Aki52403 on Twitter, who got more than 13 points. So basically, when we decide to do this, we'll ask different Taylor questions, and each one has a points value, and then whoever gets it right first gets those points, and then the first person to get to at least 13 points wins. So you never know when we might be doing it again. And so we wanted to give shout-outs to all the people who played. At Taylor Red Swiftie, I Tweet Swift, Miss Swizzle13, Please Tay Swift, Bailey _Knock, Shine Swifts, E Belford 13, Hannah Rules 14, Tay and Mare 13. There's a lot of 13s in these usernames.
Yes.
Jen the Ben 13, 13 Flawless Swift, Holy Grounds 13, and When Tay Smiles. Thanks for playing, guys, and be sure to keep an eye out for when we do this again.
I'm loving all those 13s. And speaking of keeping an eye out when we play again, to make sure you don't miss out, be sure to follow us on all of our social networking sites. We might have a trivia game on one of our social networks at another time. So here's where you can follow us. Twitter.com/Swiftcast13, Facebook.com/Swiftcast13, Swiftcast13.tumblr.com, Swiftcast13.wordpress.com, TaylorConnect.com/Swiftcast13, Swiftcast13.com. You can email us at swiftcast13@gmail.com, and be sure to remember that our store is available at cafepress.com/SwiftcastStuff.
And now we have our segment with Jamie from Taylor Swift's Closet returning with this week's awesome Taylor fashion updates.
Hello everyone, this is Jamie from TaylorSwiftsCloset.com with your weekly fashion update, and I've got tons of outfit updates to discuss today, so I'm just going to delve right into it. To start off, I've been noticing Taylor's been going to a lot of gyms and a lot of dance studios lately, so I'm glad I get to talk about some of the activewear that we don't usually spot on Taylor that often. One of the outfits she wore last month to the dance studio was a leopard print wild fox jumper and a pair of pink and yellow Saucony sneakers, and it looks super comfortable and easy to work out in. Both of those items are available online, along with the green Christian Louboutin bag she was carrying. And on the same day, she changed out of her workout clothes to go shopping at Barney's, and she wore the most perfect white shirt dress I have ever seen. It is from the Reformation and is somewhat semi-sheer. It's a great length, not too long, not too short. And with that, she wore a red Free People pork pie hat that completely made the outfit in my perspective. I loved it. And to make all of it more fallish, she also wore a pair of dotted tights from Hue, which are really inexpensive. I believe they're on sale for around $6. In the beginning of October, Taylor and some of her friends kept Instagramming photos back and forth on Twitter of themselves baking, and they were all wearing matching aprons. And I thought the aprons were so cute, so I went to go track them down, and I found out they were from Anthropologie and sell for $32 online. They are white and pink and ruffly, just super cute. They're called the Tea and Crumpets apron, which that must be just the most adorable name I've ever heard for an apron. And lastly, Taylor attended the NSIAI Awards earlier this week, which she won. and she went back to her sparkly dresses for the event. She wore a silver metallic cocktail dress from Houghton and some crisscross silver heels from Christian Louboutin that look a lot similar to the ones that she wore at the Grammys back in February. But I thought it was a good look for her. Metallics in colder months always go hand in hand, so I thought it was a good choice. And next week on Swiftcast, I'll be talking about Taylor's key necklace that she wore in the I Knew You Were Trouble music video, because it has a really amazing story behind it that deals with a charity, and I wanted to make sure I had enough time to share it with you. As always, all the links to where to buy the items that I talked about on today's segment are located on my website, and I always have to pick and choose some weeks because I don't have enough time to go over all of the outfits Taylor wears in a week sometimes. So if there's ever an outfit you really want me to talk about or you want to know where it's from, you can tweet me at @SwiftsCloset on Twitter. Again, this is Jamie from TaylorSwiftsCloset.com reporting for Swiftcast.
Thanks, Jamie. And you guys make sure to check out her site if you're interested in any of that information or anything else that she has worn. Jamie is an expert at finding these things.
So now it's time for our main discussion. We wanted to talk about Taylor's 2 radio interviews that she did this past Friday, October 11th. There were quite a lot of fun, interesting, funny, sassy, all sorts of types of things that she said. And they were both really long interviews, so we don't get those from her a lot.
Yeah, I was really excited by the length of both interviews because a lot of times, like you said, they're not quite as long, and she got to talk a lot and answer some really good questions.
Yeah, it wasn't just her talking about, her album or her tour, like brief little interviews that she does. It was like a really just candid, like ask her anything, just have a long, random conversation, and you got to hear about a lot of different things that you don't usually hear her talking about.
I think my favorite thing about these interviews... Sorry, one second. Yawn. I think my favorite thing about these interviews was not only the length, but it was also the fact that they did not bug her about her dating life. I was so happy to hear her being asked other things about her life and her career, other than just, as you said, her album or her dating life. Like, they finally just got over that and went on to other things, and I was so happy to, not have to listen to them put her in awkward positions by asking her about her ex-boyfriends.
Really? I mean, I think everything that can be said about them has been.
Has been said. We've been there, we've done that.
She has a lot more interesting and wise things to talk about.
Fully agreed.
So, I think the most exciting thing, or one of the most exciting things she said, it was something that we've all been wondering about for a few weeks or maybe a month or two now. She confirmed that she's going to be in the movie The Giver.
Yay!
So exciting.
I'm happy that she's doing another movie.
And we'd heard about it, but we hadn't actually heard her or any of her people confirm it. So I was really hoping it was true because we haven't seen her on the big screen in a few years now. And so she was talking about how, I think the director or maybe some of the producers came to see one of her Red shows, and after seeing it and seeing her in it, they really envisioned her in the part of Rosemary and really could tell from seeing her in person how she could fit that role. So they offered it to her, and she said she was really happy that it finally worked out with, her touring schedule and everything. It can be hard to fit things in, but she said it's a small role in a big movie, and that's why she wanted to do it.
That definitely coincides with, things that she has been said in the past when they've asked her about, whether she wanted to do more acting after she did Valentine's Day and stuff. And she's always like, well, it's not that I wouldn't do more acting, but music is my first priority, and the acting has to be the right role at the right time, and everything has to fit about it if she chose to take another role. And then, when she was asked about The Giver, and she specifically said, well, it's a small role, but it's got a really amazing cast, and this is exactly what I wanted. So, I'm really happy that it worked out for her like that.
And she also said she's really excited to get to work with Jeff Bridges and Meryl Streep, who are also in the movie.
Yeah. That would be I will admit that would be pretty epic to work with Meryl Streep. I mean, it's Meryl Streep.
Yeah, that's gonna be crazy. It will be awesome to see her. It seems like yesterday I was running into the theater to see Valentine's Day, so I'm really excited about this. And I'm also, like Belle said, I'm really glad her first priority is still music, but she's trying to expand herself and get more involved in acting. I think that's great.
And I think this will be, from the description I read of the book, a lot more serious of a role than, her Valentine's Day role.
Yeah. I will admit I have not read the book yet, but I know I'm going to eventually end up buying the book and reading it before the movie comes out.
Particularly if they release a movie edition with Taylor on the cover.
Yeah. Yeah, that will definitely be bought.
Seems like they usually put out like a special edition movie cover of novels when they get turned into movies.
This is very true.
That would be really cool. I'm definitely going to read the book and see the film. Does anyone know, is it supposed to come out in 2014, I'm guessing?
I would assume.
I would think so. Probably a little bit later in the year since they're just starting to film it soon.
Right. Well, one thing that was cool when they were talking about Taylor's acting on Nash FM, they also mentioned how great of a job she did on CSI. And that was a more serious role than Valentine's Day. So I think...
True.
Oh
think
yeah, I
this will
definitely
be-
know that she can handle it for sure.
Yeah, she'll do a great job. And it was funny to think back to her being in CSI.
It's weird because it was actually quite a long time ago, but I remember it very well.
Me too. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago.
And then the song that was featured in that was You're Not Sorry, and that was from Fearless.
Right.
Like, how crazy is that? Wow, was it really 4 years ago? But I guess it was. That's crazy. And I remember her, like, tweeting at the end of 2009, like, 2009 has been an amazing year, and she listed all these things, including CSI. And I'm like, wow, man, I don't think you're gonna have another year that's that awesome. And then 4 years later, like, she's managed to top it every year. I'm just like, holy goodness, woman.
I want her to be on a TV show and like have an actual like decent sized part on like New Girl.
Oh, that would be so funny. Either a New Girl or like how much would she die if she was offered a guest spot on Grey's Anatomy?
That would be amazing.
Can you even imagine that?
I can actually see her doing a really good job with that, playing some patient with just a random strange medical condition.
Yeah, I could see that happening.
So I forget which one of the two interviews it was, but they were asking a lot of fan submitted questions that people sent in on Facebook and Twitter. And our friend Kelly, who you might remember was on the show a couple of times with us a few months ago, sent in a question that they read and Taylor answered, which was really cool. And she asked her, she said, since you have one of the biggest numbers of followers on Twitter, and you're actually just one spot behind President Obama, how do you feel about that? And, what are your favorite things about social media?
I love how she didn't even know that. She's like, really?
Yeah, I don't really think Taylor sits there refreshing her feed, like seeing how many followers she has all the time, comparing it to others.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
That was such a great question, and I loved that portion of the interview because Taylor really emphasized that she's not trying to use her Twitter account to get people to buy things. She just wants to use it like she's a normal person and connect with people, and that's what I love about her.
I mean, I love how she kind of almost like makes fun of herself, and she's like, yeah, if you're looking for me to get on Twitter and, remind you all constantly to vote and remind you constantly to buy my album, you're kind of looking at the wrong person. But if you want to hear about, what weird positions my cat is sitting in, then you're in the right place. No, I like that too, though. I like the fact that she, despite how huge she's gotten, she still maintains her own, she still does that. She still tweets pictures of her cat sitting on the couch, and, it just, she used to do that stuff on MySpace all the time back in the day, and it's nice to, like, still have that, despite how much it just reminds me of that quote when she's like, oh, I'll never change, but I'll never stay the same, and it's like, so much in her life has changed, but if you have been a fan of her since, the early days, then you'll still see, like, she still does some things like she used to do, which is just, I don't know, it's just nice to have that familiarity, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Another thing that I particularly liked about the interview was when she was on the Bobby Bones interview, and Bobby Bones asked her about like going out in public and how she handles that, and she made a comment that I thought was hilarious because it really, like, I agree with it 100%. She's like, I don't understand celebrities that go out there and put on like 5 layers of clothes and wear a hat really low down on their face, and because really, you're not drawing attention away from yourself. You're drawing more attention to yourself when you do that. And like every time that I've like ever been in LA and I've seen someone kind of like trying to not get noticed, I'm like, oh, they must be someone famous, because like when you're obviously like putting, you know what I mean? Like when you act like that, when you try to like put on a disguise or like you're constantly shielding your face, you're just like, so who are you and what's going on? Whereas if you were just walked down the street, I might not have ever noticed you, like a normal person. And I like how she's just like, I can't do that. I can't pretend to disguise myself. Like she's like, I just try to live my life.
Yeah, I love that about her. She just goes about her day like she would any other day before this happened, and she doesn't try to hide.
And another thing about that is, like, she also doesn't... There are so many celebrities that act really put out if you were to approach them in, like, their daily life, And, I mean, I'm not saying that I would, like, chase around a celebrity if I wanted to get their autograph or something, but if I was, like, in a Starbucks line, and right in front of me was, like, one of my favorite actresses, I'm not saying I wouldn't be like, maybe... I don't know if I'd have to go to ask for their autograph, but maybe, if I happen to be standing right next to them. And Taylor's always been the kind of person that whenever people have, like, asked her for her autograph or asked her for a picture, she's so gracious about it and doesn't ever act put out, even though she's just, not in a workplace, not putting on a concert or at a meet and greet, But she's always really gracious to people in her daily life, which is another thing that makes me really respect her, because on one hand, it's like, yeah, she should be able to live a normal life despite her career. But on another hand, it's like, regardless of whether you're, quote unquote, working or not in the moment, like your attitude towards people is a huge impact on whether they're going to continue to support you. And I don't know, I've always really respected how cool she is about people that do come up to her when she's just hanging out, She's always really nice to people, and she will take pictures and sign autographs. And usually it's her security that pulls her away, and I've seen her mouth off to her own security. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. That video of her doing that was great.
Wasn't it? I love it. Yeah. She's just like, no, knock it off. Like, I can take a picture with these people. Like, you can, yeah.
Yeah, if anybody hasn't seen that video, you should try to YouTube it. It's great.
It's really funny. What did she yell, shut up to her security or something?
There was another really funny thing that she talked about. They were asking her, do you actually know what it's like to drive a Maserati?
She's like, actually, no.
She's like, no, I drive a Toyota. They were telling her how actually Luke Bryan drives a Maserati.
Oh, she was making fun of him for that. And they're just like, oh, it's his wife's or so. Did I catch that right, or?
Yeah, I think they said it might have been his wife's.
Yeah.
But I guess Luke told the people at Nash FM not to mention that he has a Maserati. I think he said something like, oh, just talk about my truck, please.
Just talk about my truck. I have to preserve my manly country image here.
Well, I know that after they told her that, she said something along the lines of like maybe he could help me at the CMA Awards or something. So that made me think that maybe she's performing Red.
Maybe.
I think that was what she said. I mean, she was joking, but that just made me think that Red could be the song she's doing. And it would make sense since that's, the title track of her album.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. And it was funny. She did kind of joke around that maybe if people know that Luke that he has a Maserati, people will vote for her. But she was completely joking and it was hilarious. And then she talked about how much fun she had with Luke when he was a guest on tour.
Yeah, Taylor's Sass her sense of humor is hilarious. I love it.
And I also loved how, I guess she still has her Toyota. I remember back when she was on MySpace, she named her Toyota Toyot, which is really awesome. But I didn't know that she still had her Toyota, but I guess she does. It's really cool.
I'm glad she does.
I mean, she probably doesn't drive it too much, so it's probably still in good condition.
True.
That's very true.
But I know I've seen
very
or
good
heard
point.
a few times that, people have seen her just driving casually around Nashville, so it's cool that, even though she obviously could have a driver, that she still likes just cruising and driving by herself.
Well, maybe she's cruising while she listens to Cruise.
I'm sure she actually has done that plenty of times.
I might have done that the other day.
That sounds perfect.
It was beautiful.
And
driving in the country and blasting crews with the windows open and making complete idiots out of ourselves, and we loved it.
And actually, kind of along those lines, when Taylor was on the Bobby Bones show, she said that if she's in the car and she comes on the radio, she blasts it.
Yep.
Which is awesome.
It's like, I admit it, I do that.
I probably would do the same thing.
I probably would too. Not gonna lie.
Anytime she comes on the radio and I'm in my car, I freak out and just turn it up and start screaming along. So I can imagine how excited she is.
I have this, like, semi-guilty pleasure of every time I go into a Barnes & Noble, I go to the help desk and ask them if they have my book in stock. So I can understand that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, you have to enjoy yourself a little bit. Yeah, if you did miss these interviews, you should definitely check them out, especially if you are a big Swiftie, because these are a piece of Taylor's personality that you don't want to miss.
It's just, it's something that you don't get anywhere else.
100% true.
Next, we're going to move on to our Taylor quote segment. The quote for today is when Taylor said, "The way it works is if you reach a certain point in your career where things are going very well, public perception needs a yeah, but," she says. Like, yeah, but she's been on a lot of dates, apparently. Yeah, but I hear she's crazy. I think you'll find it has a lot to do with being a woman, and I resent that. That there has to be some downside to your personality or lifestyle if you're a woman and successful. And this is a great quote. It kind of goes back to what we were talking about with how females aren't really that represented in country music, and Taylor's an awesome representation in music overall, and she's so successful, but everybody has to find something that's wrong with her. Not everybody, because true fans don't, but there is that yeah, but, and I completely get that. Even if you read comments on websites where there's a really positive article about, for example, Taylor donated all this money for an education center, then you have all these snarky people who don't like her, who just try to tear her down for no good reason and say, oh, like, that's nice that she donated all this money, but she's just crazy and she can't have a boyfriend because... And one of the things I get so sick of is everybody says that she needs to write a song that says, maybe I'm the problem. And everybody is... People who don't like her can just be so negative, and it makes me upset.
And they think they're being clever when they're really not.
It's not clever at all.
I think that she does bring up a really, really good point also about the fact that we are still living in a sexist society. Like, it is true that I think that successful women are more picked on than successful men. And I'm not some giant feminist or anything, but I, like, really do see that, you know, happening still. Like, people, you know, our successful women definitely get that yeah, but a lot more than successful men.
And aside from that, too, like, the reason, besides just her being a woman, it is also the fact that she is so successful. If she was only moderately successful, or, you know, just still a relatively small artist, I don't really think people would feel the need to say anything.
No, I agree with you 100%, and I just think that she definitely has a lot. I mean, it goes back to that quote we were talking about last episode. We were like, if there's a hurricane going outside, you don't have to look at it. But at the same time, like, you know, it's not like she doesn't know what exists. Like, she knows. And I like how she words this one part in this quote where she's like, I've been on a lot of dates, comma, apparently. You know, making a very clear point that that's, you know, all of her guy gossip is kind of preposterous. Which, I agree, it is. Like, I mean, I hate to say, you know, it's one of those things where if you look at the way people judge her life, and then you look at your own life, and you're like, okay, every single person that she's ever been out to dinner with, she's apparently been on dates with, right? If I dated every single guy that I've ever eaten a meal with, I don't even want to know what my life would be.
That's so true. And I also completely agree with what Ashley said about how, because she's so successful, people feel the need to bring her down. And I think it just goes to what Taylor said herself. people like to throw rocks at things that shine, and that's just the way it goes. But I'm glad she has awareness about it, and she doesn't let it get to her, and she just keeps going.
Yeah, she does have she has developed, I like the fact that she doesn't sit there and try to pretend like she's above it all or immune to it all. She admits that she's not, but at the same time, she has chosen how to handle it. And with some self-discipline, she has made it so it's an okay situation for her. She admits straight off that, it hurts her feelings when people do all this stuff, which I like that she admits that, because I can't stand it when people are like, it really annoys me, and not just famous people, but anybody, when they're like, oh my gosh, nothing bothers me. Like, you can say whatever you want, it's not going to affect me. Mm-hmm. You know what? That's crap. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. Your feelings can get hurt. Unless you're like a complete sociopath, you have feelings, And I like the fact that she doesn't try to pretend like she's above everything anybody says. Instead, she just says, yeah, it does hurt, but this is how I deal with it. I don't focus on it. I don't pay attention to it. I don't read about myself. I don't Google myself. I don't read gossip magazines. Like, if I don't know about it, I can't be upset about it. So I try to know as little as I can, about the negative things that are said about her. And obviously there's some stuff that she can't avoid, but when she can't avoid it, she chooses to just not focus on it, Yeah. And I think that that's a really good sort of lesson that we can all take, because I'm sure every single person that's listening to this entire podcast right now has had hurt feelings by somebody saying something about them that either wasn't true or was like twisted or specifically meant to hurt you in some way, I'm sure every single human being can relate to that. And I think it's just really good that she doesn't pretend like she's invulnerable, but at the same time she has some actually good, tangible advice, because hearing "just get over it" or "don't let it affect you" are the two things I cannot stand when I'm upset. I'm like, yeah, if I had that choice, but she actually gives you, her advice is actually giving you not just, oh, do this, but here's a way to do this, which is a lot more helpful in my opinion.
Yeah, she's giving people specific advice that they can follow in their own lives. And really...
Exactly.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No.
Oh, it's just that if people can follow it, and if she didn't use it herself, she would go crazy. I'm sure I would go crazy if I were her and I read everything that people say. But when I'm just a fan, I do read it and I get really upset about it. I feel like they're saying these things about me. But that's just when you're such a true fan to her, that's just how we all feel.
I think one of the things that probably does help her is that she has, she does have a very loyal fan base. And I think, again, we can relate this to our own lives by looking at, like, say, our friends. And I think it's one of those situations where if anybody comes up to us, right, and as we are, like, loyal Swifties, and basically just trashes on her for literally no tangible reason, we can all just be like, yeah, whatever, like, we know whatever you're saying isn't true, because, sorry, but we're Swifties, And it's not that we think that she's perfect. Everybody has flaws, but it's more the fact that, like, we respect her enough to not pay attention to the negative things other people might say, that when we know that their purpose in saying it is to try and bring her down. And I think, like, we can relate to that on a smaller scale, looking at our own lives by thinking about the fact that, like, I think we all want to be able to hope that the friends that we have in our lives, if somebody came up to them and started trashing us, I would hope our friends would know enough to not indulge that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
And I think, like, her having that kind of comfort and knowing that she has the kind of fans that are loyal enough where she's not going to lose fans because somebody is talking crap about her, I'm sure that probably helps her too, knowing that she has that kind of fan base. And I think that the kind of fan base that she has, that she knows that she has, is probably the kind of friends we all hope that we have too.
Exactly. She said once that if you want to be my friend, all you have to do is like me. So she's completely aware.
So that was our Taylor quote of the week. And if you have any quotes that you would like us to discuss, Taylor's had a lot of good quotes in interviews lately, send that in to us and we will talk about it on a future episode. And now for our giveaway announcements.
All right, so we do have one giveaway still going on, and that's our iTunes giveaway. If you guys want to be awesome listeners, you could do us a really, really huge favor and vote us 5 stars on the iTunes page and leave us a review. Doing these things basically just helps us because it helps us like rank higher on iTunes, which makes it easier for Swifties to stumble upon us and find our podcast. So it helps more Swifties find us. So that's awesome. And it also helps us personally because when you leave us reviews, telling us what you like or what you don't like or a suggestion that you have or anything else, like we are creating this show, for you. So we want to make it stuff that you guys want to hear and everything. So once we get up to 50 reviews, we are giving away a red sticker and a pack of red guitar picks to a random person that's left us a review. So we'll just pick randomly via iTunes once we hit 50. So do that for us and we would heart you. And that's that contest that's going on right now.
So thanks so much for listening to episode 26. We hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to send in your submissions for next week. And we will talk to you in a week. So this has been Ashley,
Belle,
and Steph.
Have a great week, everyone.
And since Nate's not here, peace out, Swift Scouts.
We are in no way directly affiliated with Taylor Swift.